Hello and welcome everybody. Are you guys ready to watch me play some StarCraft? Oh my god, I totally am not. I hate watching myself play because all I can do when I watch myself play is criticize everything about what I'm doing because I watch so many pro replays that I watch myself play and I just realize all the terrible things that I do that make me such a bad player. But I am trying to work through all of that right now. I'm trying to improve myself, and today I had a winning day of StarCraft. I won every single match I played, and it was brilliant, especially after my terrible weekend of losing every single game, except for I won 4 games out of 30 over the weekend. It was ridiculous. I kept saying, you know what? I just need to play more games to get better. I just got to play more games to get better. That's all I got to do. And then Monday came, and it's I had won 4 games out of 30, and 2 of them were games where people had just left at the beginning of the game. So I really only won 2 out of 30, really, when it comes down to actual playing ability. And I was that is terrible. There is something wrong with my play. There's something seriously wrong. So I went back and I rewatched Day 9 Daily number, either 360 or 260. I can't remember which one it is. It's the one that if you Google and search for Day 9 Daily Mental Checklist Exercises, it will come up, and I'm actually going to be doing, if you watched my other cast today of Violet, then I'm going to be doing a short series where I'm just going to be doing exactly what Day 9, I will be crediting Day 9 with all the credit for coming up with the exercises, and I am going to just do a short series where I'm just going to be showing you how to macro. If you're in Bronze and you just want to learn the super ultra basics of how to macro, then watch my video and then do it. It literally takes 10 minutes a day. I promise with 10 minutes a day of sitting in just a custom game, do that for a week or 2, then you could pretty much jump on ladder and get to gold. I'm 100% confident that if you do some of those basic Day 9 exercises that he covers in that exercise, absolutely easy to get to at least gold, just because your macro skills are going to be so good. Now, let's jump right into this game right now. Spawning in the top left position as the blue Zerg. Well, it's me, yeah! GetGlitched, that is me. That is one of my multiple screen names. I have a couple. I have a ladder account. I also have a regular account where I actually play and get achievements and all that kind of good stuff. But this is my main ladder account that I like to play on, and I always cast games from. As we can see, my opponent did go for a very fast forge, didn't throw down a cannon quite yet at the front, and I always get a little bit nervous, so I always throw down this spawning pool at about 14 food just to get up those early Zerglings to really chase away that probe, get him out of your base, because I really don't want to have to deal with that. And just because I had that horrible weekend of just losing so much, that was why I had that drone scout going down here for so long. I really wanted to be sure that this Nexus was going down and that he wasn't really going to try to cannon in my main. So kept that drone in there for a little bit. At very high Masters levels, Grandmaster, Pro levels, you don't want to do that. You don't want a drone in here just wandering around forever and ever. But if you're below, if you're Masters, even Masters or below, just keep a drone in there. You can get full 100% scouting information. Why not? The gain that you are going to get from having that extra 30 minerals per minute at this level is not going to make any difference at all. When you are in Masters and that 30 minerals per minute is going to make a huge difference in the outcome of the game, sure, you don't want to keep a drone just running around here. But if you are not in that high Grandmaster or high Master level, then you want to be keeping your drones out here, scouting as much, getting as much information as you can, especially as Zerg, which are considered to be the reactive race. As we can see, I am now getting my natural down as quickly as I can. Gonna go straight back into droning very quickly. My personal theory against Protoss at the moment right now, because I've been trying after my bad weekend of playing, then I just decided I'm just going to go for super simple, super standard opening, where I'm just going to get fast Ling speed. I'm going to have Lings kind of scouting the map. Notice I'm keeping a couple of Lings right outside of his base, so whenever I want, I can just poke right up in here, see what he's got at his front. I'm going to get enough gas for ling speed, and then I'm just going to mine nothing but minerals until I'm fully saturated on two bases, on minerals. And then I'm going to throw a few more guys back in gas. There you go. As you can see, I'm doing that now. I'm going to start my layer as soon as I get 100 gas, and this is actually kind of a mistake. I don't normally get this gas until I start my layer. Once I start my layer, instantly throw down another 3 gas geysers. And then just start to tech from there. I usually tech to roaches, start getting double upgrades as quick as I can, and just go for early roach aggression if I can help it. If I can get damage done before colossi are out. If I can't get damage done before colossi, I sit back, take a third base, throw down a spire to get ready for those colossi, and then just go full out with roaches, corruptors, and lots of upgrades. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in this game. As we can see, the roach warren is now going down, as well as the tremendous amounts of lag for some reason. But in the base of my opponent, House, who, God, I didn't even introduce him, did I? God, I am so BM, spawning in the bottom right position at the 7-minute and 40-minute mark as the red Protoss. We have House, who is currently, after Forge Fast Expanding, droning up quite a bit and getting out a couple of Void Rays very early on. He's trying to hide them early on. I have not actually scouted this yet, and this is one blunder that I actually did make in this game. You always want to try to send in an Overlord around the... if you see him go for the Forge Fast Expand, you can delay it a little bit, but by about the 8-minute and 30-second mark, you really want to have an Overlord in his base. And as we can see, I do have an Overlord heading there right now, but he's way out of position. I really should have had my third Overlord heading like somewhere over here very early on. But I actually did mess that up, and my third Overlord was actually sitting over here in my base for a little bit too long. So we can see I'm now pretty much fully saturated on minerals, just barely fully saturated on minerals here at my natural. Now taking my third and fourth gas geysers. Lair is now up. I always, as soon as lair is up, the first things I try to go for, roach speed, burrow, and I try to get a +1 as quickly as I can. For now, I'm just producing lots and lots of roaches. There we go. Roach burrow now starting. And we do now see roach speed, rather, and burrow now starting. And the 2 void rays now coming out. Now, I did actually see these coming out because I had lings on the watchtowers. Always want to try to control the watchtowers, and not the best pathing here by House as he manages to walk right by them. So now I know that they're coming. My response is to instantly throw down a couple more queens right now. Want more queens to be able to defend against these. I always get a fast third queen to be able to start spreading creep across the map, which I actually kind of do terribly at the beginning of this game. But now we do see that a Hydralisk Den is going to go down. There it is. Hydralisk Den now being thrown down here, as Hydralisk just generally really good units against Protoss very early game. Until they get Colossi, Hydralisks are actually like ridiculously good against Protoss Gateway units, as well as all Protoss air units. And what we're going to see from House is quite a bit of air production in the early game, so I'm actually going to commit pretty heavily to Hydras early on, because I'm going to say, you know what, if you are going for that many early air units, there's no way you can be getting up that fast of Colossi. As we can see, he is going to be getting Colossi behind this. We do see the robotics facility coming down. Only 1 Stargate was produced by him, and he's trying to be a little bit defensive right now, not being too aggressive with these air units until he gets up a good number of Phoenixes, because I actually haven't seen that he's going for too many Phoenixes yet. So right now, at this point, I'm thinking, oh, he's just got a couple of Void Rays that he's going to try to harass me with. But as we can see, he's going to be moving in right now with a couple of Phoenixes. There, I spot a couple of Phoenixes, trying to move this Overlord back, but I know there's not a whole lot I can do for all these Overlords out across the map right now. He actually doesn't do that great of a job of picking them off, though. As we can see, I've still got a lot of Overlords around the map. He really wanted to try to deal some damage here, but right now I'm already producing Hydras. They're already on the way. I threw down a lot of Spore Crawlers. I've got 3 in the main, I think 2 at the natural. Yeah, it looks like 2 at the natural, and now that they've changed the way Spore Crawlers work and the fact that they can uproot and reroute quite quickly means that you can do quite nicely. You can deal with air attacks quite well, and I allowed him to do some damage to this extractor for a little while, because I said, you know what, you're just going for an extractor. That's 25 minerals. That's not that big of a deal. But I moved in with my Hydras kind of blindly. I kind of just 1A'd them in here while I continued to just work on my macro, because I really wanted to keep injecting, as you can see, which I am not doing very effectively here. But I'm now rerouting this Spore Crawler, trying to get more Hydras up into the base. Need to get these Hydras as quickly as possible into the base, but Phoenix is very good against Hydralisks, actually. Once you have Phoenixes, they actually have bonus damage to light units, so if they're able to pick up your Hydras, they can actually kill them quite quickly. Need a lot of Hydras to really be able to deal with a lot of Phoenixes effectively. I just wasn't expecting him to go for this many early Phoenix, but he didn't really do that much damage, so And I did have 4 queens here to really be able to pull that off. Nice transfuse going down on that spore crawler. And as we can see, he's just going to move around now and continue to try to pick off as many phoenixes. A little bit of miscontrol by him losing those void rays. And I said, you know what, you just ended some air aggression right now. I've still got a good number of Hydralisks out. So you know what, I am going to try to push at your front and take a quick third. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Because if you have your Hydralisks and phoenixes in my main, well, that means that you're not going to be down here stopping my third. So I started to move across the field, and House actually decided to go for an expansion here, which I said, you know what, no, that is not happening. It is not happening this early in the game. If you're going to go for that early air aggression, I don't think you can actually stop this many units, so I am going to stop you from getting any kind of expansions out. And as you can see, his first Colossi just now getting out onto the field. And I am going to poke in here just to see if he's been macroing badly with his gateways, just to see if I can try to do some damage to him, just because it's usually a good idea to at least poke in to see if you can't deal some damage. But I got up with those Lings, saw that Colossus, and said, you know what, this mainly Hydralisk force going to fall so quickly to this Colossus, so I'm just going to pull right on back, continue to spread creep, get some map control. For some reason I have a drone out in the middle of the map, and then just get this base up and running really well. Going to be throwing down a couple of spores just in case he's still hiding Void Rays in his base or Dark Templar. Then I really want to be able to get that up. I don't think at this point Dark Templar are likely, just because I saw at the front of his base he's got a lot of Stalkers. And Stalkers are usually a good indicator from a Protoss as to how much they're doing, because Stalkers kind of use your gas and your minerals very evenly. It kind of burns everything you have. And so I saw he had a good number of Stalkers, and so I said, you know what, there's not really a whole lot of chance he's going to have Dark Templar, because he's been using a lot of gas here into Stalkers. If you saw a lot of Zealots at the front, well, then you might have to worry. You say, oh, well, now I don't know where he's been putting all that gas. I need to be a little bit more worried about that. But as we can see, I am now throwing down the Spire. Spire going to be up here very soon. All I want to do right now is just defend, because if he comes at me with those Colossi, don't want to have to deal with it until I have those Corruptors. As we can see, the double evolution chamber is now up. Currently researching those 2/2 upgrades for my Roach Hydra army. Gonna be loving that oh so much. And just continuing to get more and more drones, more and more roaches, more and more hydras, trying to keep my money low. That was the goal of all my games today. I said, you know what, I'm not going to try for any silly stuff, because at this level, it's not important. At this level, it's much, much more important, and you can win much easier. Diamond or below, you can just win by macroing better than your opponent. Unit composition almost doesn't matter. It kind of starts to matter in Diamond, but before Diamond, it really doesn't even matter what units you get. If you're a Zerg, try to just macro well and just go Lings. Go mass Lings with upgrades, and you will actually get to gold just fine. You will get to gold so well as long as you're constantly injecting, expanding, getting lots and lots of Lings up. You'll just overwhelm your opponent before you get to, I don't know, Diamond or so. And then you need to start thinking about your unit composition a little bit, but even then, still mostly going to be the macro. That is going to be your focus of the game. So right now I'm fully just trying to max right now, getting a good number of Corruptors up. I find that a good number of Corruptors to have when you're going up against Colossi. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol there from House as he manages to lose his Phoenixes there to my Corruptors. But I generally like to have about 8 or 10 Corruptors up at the front. Notice going to be using the Corruption ability on every single one of them to kill them even faster right now. But notice that these Colossus are actually dealing a lot of damage to my ground forces, because I don't quite have enough Corruptors to really be able to kill these Colossus fast. We're going to trade about evenly, but because these Corruptors, I really didn't have enough of them, those Colossi were able to deal a lot of damage to my ground forces, and now I'm just going to try to retreat. I know the Hydralisks are too slow to really be able to retreat off creep, so I'm just going to be pulling back, trying to save as many Corruptors as I can. I know that I took out a lot of his big expensive units. All the Corruptors, or the Colossi, have been taken care of, and so he's just going to have to remax with gateway units, and I did see that he was re-expanding down here. So now I'm just going strictly for roaches. I need tanky units that are going to survive for a while. I know that they're well upgraded, so I'm going to be doing fairly well. Notice not a whole lot of upgrades going down for my opponent House right now, just because he's only going on one forge right now. That's not really going to be able to cut it at this point, because I have a double evolution chamber, and I am really pumping those upgrades real heavily. Once I get to 2/2, that's generally when I try to go for that lair tech somewhere around here. I believe I've got my somewhere infestation pit. Tell me I have an infestation pit somewhere around here. Not quite yet. That's actually one mistake that I actually don't like. I am going to be taking a 4th here, because I said, you know what, I just took out a good part of your army. I just took out a good portion of your army, so I'm now just going to be pulling back. And no, I was still making Hydras at this point. And I did have an Overlord in the back here to be able to scout that position as soon as he starts mining on it, and that's one thing you want to do as Zerg. You want to have your overlords all over the place scouting. I have these ones in position to check for any kind of drops or warp prism. As we can see, there is one warp prism that is coming, and I did actually spot it because of this overlord. I always have 2 overlords out in the middle of the map and around the edges so that I know that they're there, and you can see that I'm going to be pulling all those back real quickly here. Well, I guess not as real quickly as I could have been, but I did scout that warp prism there, and I am going to be pulling this army back to be able to deal with it rather quickly. As you can see, I will pull drones here in a second because I know that it's there. There goes the queen starting to deal damage to that warp prism. Just going to be pulling those drones back as all my Roach Hydra comes back to be able to deal with that drop. And this is something of a mistake for me. This is actually something that I shouldn't have done. I should have just split off a small section of my army to go deal with these zealots. And oh, beautiful transfuses going down by me all over that hatchery, saving that hatchery, keeping it alive, not taking my 4th base. But what this did is this made my front super open. House could have just taken this whole army that he's got, had it right here, because I have no map vision at all, and as soon as my whole army came to stop this, those, I don't know, 6 zealots from killing my hatchery, he could have just marched up straight through the front, taken out my natural. A lot of my tech could have gone down. But as you can see, he's trying to play a little bit more defensive, trying to take that 4th base, and now he just transferred a ton of workers, and in my vision, I just caught that, and I said, you know what, no, I can't let him be matched bases with me. I really need to do some damage right now, and I maxed as well. I've got hive tech on the way. And yeah, those drones going to be moving to somewhere very shortly, and there they go. And 3-3 going to be on the way here very shortly. We are going to see 3-3 starting soon, as well as a Greater Spire. That is almost always my choice of tech against Protoss in the late game, because if you use them well, they're actually very, very good. Generally, the composition you want to go for is late game Infester Broodlord. That's really what you want. Maybe some Roaches to kind of hold the Stalkers and other ground forces back. But you really want Infestors to be able to get fungal growths on top of all over those blink stalkers that they aren't able to blink up to your broodlords. Now we do have a big engagement going on here, and once again now I have the good number of corruptors. See how once I have about 10 corruptors, look at how fast they just burn through those 4 colossus. I use the corruption ability on all of them rather quickly, and then I just burned through them so fast. The Hydralisks doing so much damage behind the Roaches, which were absorbing a whole lot of that damage, and I am just going to be remaxing with tons and tons of Roaches because I said, you know what, I just finished off a ton of his army. I just need to reinforce very quickly, reinforcing with Roaches quick as I can as my Greater Spire comes down, because I said, you know what, I don't think he's going to be going for Corruptors or Colossi anymore, so I just need to keep these Corruptors a few alive to be able to deal with any that he produces, but I'm really going to be wanting to tech to Broodlords here very soon. Going to try to deny this 3rd. I tried to pull back so that I would kind of wedge myself into this tight little area here, and then I saw that I had Roaches reinforcing to the top. All of my hatcheries are currently rallied to about here somewhere to his front, just continuing to inject constantly. No, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew I was going to come back here and see uninjected hatcheries. Big mistake there by me. This is one thing that is a huge error. Look at all that energy on that queen. Oh, that's so bad. So bad. You always want to be constantly injecting into your hatcheries. Once again, remaxing for me. The Greater Spire is now done. 3-3 going to be done very soon. I just picked off this 3rd, and I said, you know what? I know that this 4th is mining, and I know that's pretty much your only source of mining at this point in the game, because look at that. I don't have much in my main and my natural, so you can't have that much either. So I'm just going to go try to deny all your mining if I can. One thing you want to do is I've pulled all the way up to the top of the ramp, because if anything, I want to pull him into this narrow choke. The second I saw those Colossus, go straight for him with those Corruptors, hold the ramp as best as I can, and my units did start to chase there, and once again, just pulled back, stopped here to see if he's going to try to come after me, because I want to be able to catch him in this narrow choke and be able to get a huge expand, and then all of a sudden all these probes came down, and I went, you know what? I don't know why those probes are up there, but I'm going to go find out, and I poked up there to find another Nexus, took down that Nexus, continuing to rally more and more Roaches into the base, and notice he's still not that hot in terms of upgrades. 2-2 in upgrades to my just now getting to 3-3, or 3 seconds away from being 3-3, and House is just going to leave the game. My next step after this would have been to just finish taking that off, morph these guys into Broodlords, go in once again, but this time remax on infestors, and I probably actually should have been remaxing on infestors a lot sooner. Probably a lot of these roaches weren't all that necessary. Notice I was maxed, so I was starting to accumulate quite a bit of money there. Could have gone for a lot of more late game tech units there, but I really felt that if I just continued to drill his bases, that he really wouldn't be able to reproduce, especially after that third went down. I said, you know what, there's no way that he's going to be able to outproduce me as long as I continue to inject and outproduce him with those roaches. So that was my win of the day. I actually thought this was a game, I did have a game where I went and I actually got to Broodlords, and it was quite an epic game, but that turns out wasn't this game. Just this was the game where I just continued to just drill him and out macro the heck out of him after I denied that third. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Going to be doing some more of my games as I am now just playing a lot of StarCraft. So I'm going to be uploading some more of my own games very shortly. Hope you guys tune in for that. Tune in later this week, as I am going to get that series up on little training exercises that you can do to get yourself out of bronze and then into gold. Maybe into masters, but I'd say gold at the very least. You can get yourself into gold using just a little bit of practice. 10 minutes a day, I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Glitch out.